While I was locked up, one of my biggest fears was where I would go and what would happen to me when I got out. And I don't know what would have happened to me if I hadn't come to Dismas House. It scares me to think about it. Dismas House to me was a safe place to go.
First time that I really knew in my heart I had a problem with alcohol. My daughter was 6 months old. Her mother had given me an ultimatum, either stop drinking and seek help, or she was going to take my daughter away. I was 25 years old.
I stole, I lied, I stole from my family, my parents. I lived in homeless shelters. I lived in my car through the winter. I panhandled on the street, and I sold drugs to support my habit. I did basically anything I had to supply myself with drugs.
My heroin use progressed from when I was 20 to about 24, from moderate to pretty extreme. And in that time, I committed a lot of petty crimes and stole money mostly, to support my habit. And then when I was 24, I broke into some businesses and stole a bunch of money.
Running away from feelings is what led me to first start using. I woke up one morning and I was really sick from not having anything. My oldest son looked over at me and he said, "What's the matter, Mom? You don't have no Percocets?" And I made a decision that moment that can no longer take place.
I have struggled with alcohol most of my life. I believe I was like 11 years old, first drink I had. It's something I would hope that would go away, but it's something I'll have to work on every day of my life for the rest of my life.
I had spent 3 or 4 years living a life that I didn't want to lead. I had already come to the conclusion that I had ruined my life, and jail reinforced that.
I have a 14-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. I would imagine it was hard for my daughter to go to school and see her friends. Having her friends know that her father has been in jail, and I'm sure it was degrading to her.
I'd never in my life dreamt that I'd be in jail. And I guess it was a feeling of hopelessness.
Having to deal with the guards within the prison, caseworkers, especially the inmates, takes away a lot of your self-esteem, your values. I changed to a different person in order to deal.
Leaving jail, yeah, it meant a lot to me. It meant that now I had a chance to do it the right way or do it the wrong way. I knew if I had the strength to make the right decisions, I could make my life better.
The day that I left jail, I felt like I was reborn. I felt like I had a whole new chance at, starting over again and doing things different.
I had nothing at all. I had no ID. I had no personal belongings. And I had to start over. I felt like I was an outsider. I felt that there was a society here and I didn't quite belong here.
Dismas House is really family-oriented, and coming from an institution, I guess I couldn't grasp what it would exactly be like. It felt like walking into someone's house. It didn't feel like an institution at all in any way. And that's the whole theme and feeling of Dismas House is that it is a family place.
We do activities together, we eat together, we all come together and help and support each other, just like a family.
My first impression of the house was, this is a regular place in a regular neighborhood, but I'm not a regular person. I had a chance to be a regular person now, so it was a little bit scary.
We're all volunteers. For me personally, I think that every man deserves a second chance, and the family atmosphere here at the house is much more conducive to reintegration back into society than it would be if the man were to leave jail and go directly into an apartment and be all by himself or herself.
When I lived at Dismas House, people would ask me, why do you choose to live in this place with people getting out of jail? The thing that was most challenging about it wasn't living with people who got out of jail, but just living with 9 other people. We had house meeting every week. That was remarkable to me. It was like a family meeting where you hash out issues that come up with living together.
My favorite part about being involved with the residents is talking with them, is visiting with the residents. I like to hear how their day went, how did the job interview go, to tell them, don't get discouraged. There is a job out there. It's just going to take a little time and a little patience for you to find it.
Once in a while we'll talk about their backgrounds, and sometimes in a relaxed atmosphere of, you know, just helping doing carpentry and swinging a hammer, a man is more likely to talk about his background. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, but I listen to their stories. And
I'm an only child, so all of this to me was like a family I'd experienced that I'd never had. And it wasn't without its bumps, but it really did. It was warm and it was welcoming, and it's made me stay committed to Dismas all these years.
I think the greatest struggles that happen at Dismas House are to do with people reintegrating into the community and actually seeing themselves as like a part of the community and not an inmate any longer.
I didn't understand how people struggled with getting out of jail and reestablishing their lives. I really never got that. I figured people just kind of went back to, you know, wherever they were and either got on with it, kind of straightened out, or didn't. And I didn't know that it hurt, and they felt lonely, and they often didn't have the kind of support that they really craved. As I knew them as people struggling with their own demons just as I was, and really making progress and really trying to commit to what the house meant. It's something that you've got to really give your life over to, and it takes a long, long time.
Volunteers bringing us meals and helping out with Dismas tells me that I'm worth something. And it still amazes me that people take time out of their lives to come here and help us out and bring us meals. It tells me that I'm worth something, that I matter.
It's nice to sit around the table and hear people, you know, appreciative and acknowledge the fact that they're having a warm place to stay, some good food to eat, you know, a job, a day sober, a phone call from a friend. It means a lot to hear that touches them and that they're acknowledging the importance of the opportunity they've been given and the community that they're part of.
I like the fact that we all sit together at dinner. They say a family that eats together stays together.
When I decided to be a volunteer here to cook a meal once a month, I certainly didn't see that affecting society at all. I had been involved, you know, in soup kitchen before and just saw this, oh, I can make a meal for a group of people. But this is a whole different thing. This becomes a relationship.
It's a great feeling to be able to sit down with the volunteers and talk about anything you want to and just interact with regular people.
For me, reconciliation is like getting back together or working to try to get back together. Try to put your life back together, try to put your family back together. Where a long time ago it was just a word.
I think it's important for community members to recognize that nobody gains when somebody's in prison. To meet real people that have come out of that situation and see that they're human and learn about them helps you understand that that system isn't really serving anyone.
The drawing that one of the residents' daughters was pasted on the refrigerator here the other day. Now to me that's the essence of Dismas House. That's like when my kids were 3 and 4 years old and my wife used to hang their paintings and finger scratchings and all that kind of thing up on the refrigerator.
What makes my relationship so special with friends in the house is that they're substance free and they really care about what happens to you, and they take time out and ask you if you're okay, and everybody's helping each other.
I don't have to be trained in some kind of formal corrections or criminal justice background. I don't need any of that. All I have to do is show up and be myself. And in return, maybe what the residents get from it is that there's another human being who's just living their lives and struggling the way they're struggling. It's just living by example and saying, I'm standing next to you, I'm walking with you on this walk.
Dismas has helped me to better understand the struggle that others go through and that people can really change their lives.
I had no place to go. They didn't know what to do with me. And then Dismas car, I guess, come along and kind of rescued me, I guess you say.
I guess as long as I stay sober, I'm a regular person. I've decided that you know, I can live the life that I want to live in the absence of drugs. So yeah, I guess I'm part of society now. Thank you for second chances and everyday blessings.